Time to hand out the lead block of Parm this morning for the best lead. Leads happen on this show around 6:25 every morning. And this morning, the best lead of the morning was the lead of Coach Wiggins. And here's about a minute of what Wiggy said.
And we had talked briefly about Thursday night's football game, the New England Patriots, and what my expectations were. And everybody's talking about the offense. And that's where my main focus is. I ultimately think if the offense looks good, there's going to be the Mac Island fans and the offense, hey, we're there. But then I also look at if the offense doesn't look that good, the noise of the struggling offense is going to get louder and louder and louder. Thursday night's game, I didn't think it was going to mean much, but I think it's going to mean a lot for what the offense looks like. If they struggle, it's only going to make the kind of Mac haters like myself and Shime
hate more
and kind of get on our soapbox and scream louder. Right, but if they do well, I think it's going to have you guys say, hey, look at this offense.
Okay, so Wiggy is declaring preseason game 1 a must-win.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't really care about winning.
We reached a new low on this show.
No, I don't care about winning. But you're not going to be interested in how he performs?
Correction, Greg. Must win, not must attend.
You're not going to be concerned that how if they perform bad offensively.
Literally, how many reps do you think Mac Jones gets?
I would hope that he would
like a quarter's worth.
No, whoa! I would say if he plays, my over/under is a half a series.
Okay, then honestly, no.
I would hope that he played, 2 series.
Okay, so what are you going to get out of 2 series?
Well, if the offense goes three and out, and it looks bad.
Well, right.
Well, okay. So, what if the offense plays 1 series and they roll and they score a touchdown?
Then we'll say great job.
Right. Good. That was why I won the lead Parmesan.
But if they do that, I bet they take him out after that series. He doesn't go back in after. They're like, all right, that's good.
He won't go back in. I agree with that. But if he goes 3 and out and the offense doesn't look bad, and then he goes 3 and out and
he doesn't look good,
and he's done.
It's just a weird mentality, and it's not just you and Shime. Although you're the 2 biggest proponents of it, there are people that are aggressively rooting for Mac Jones and hence the offense to fail. And I don't get it. And maybe it's based on the fact that you don't like the kid or you think he comes off as a douche or whatever. Like, that's your football team. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you not want them to be successful?
Just a quick.
Wait, it's come from the same guy who wanted to ship Jason Tatum out of here. Isn't that your basketball team?
I think anytime Shime talks about it, though, he wants to see them make a massive change. And I don't want to speak for you, but if they don't look good, then that change is going to come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I love this team. Courtney's exactly right. I want them to be forced to change, and they haven't been forced to change. They've chosen to actually do the complete opposite post Tom Brady, and it has caused nothing but middling play. Like, it's just, you're stuck in purgatory, and in the NFL, that is the literal worst place to be. I mean, you look at the Lions. They sucked for a long time, but now they're finally good because they actually hit on a couple draft picks. They have a quarterback that's competent, and and a coach that's shockingly doing really well. You look at the Eagles, did the same thing. Like, it's
in the Twitch chat, and you can watch this show every day on Twitch, and thank you if you do. Just go to Twitch and follow WEEI, and it's brought to you by Elite Vodka. Butter Guy says the issue is that it is tough to root for Mac Jones. Why?
I don't think he's very likable.
I don't think he's very good.
Was he likable 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I think
everybody loved him when he was a rookie.
Mean, honestly,
did they?
Yes,
they did.
The city was awash in 10 jerseys.
Yeah, but I'm not basing it.
I'm not a wash of 10 jerseys.
Well, today it's been a wash out.
I'm not basing it on liking him. I don't know him not to like him. I just don't think I think he's limited at what he can do at the quarterback position. So that's where I view my, well, you know what? I think it's time to figure out your next step at quarterback.
I would just say this in advance of Thursday. Either way, I'm not going to come in Friday and be panicked. The only thing that would cause concern for me is if they're having similar issues with getting the play in on time, if the offense looks dysfunctional, if the offensive line is not a cohesive unit, if they're, the quarterbacks are getting hit no matter who it is. Because the biggest issue for this team this season is not the quarterback. It is the offensive line, and it is by a pretty wide margin.
And you heard Bailey Zappi earlier during They Said It suggest that they are light years ahead of where they were offense-wise at this point last season.
Yeah, the install's been doing good. I mean, we're way ahead of, what we thought we were going to be at. We're really deep into the red zone, third down, open field stuff. So I think we just got to keep stacking days and continue just improving on the plays that we have in right now. I'm sure there's more install to be done, but I would say we're about 80%.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So then it should look halfway decent.
Yeah.
Come Thursday night.
But you're not going to see very much of it Thursday night.
Well, I don't need to see much of it to know whether or not it looks halfway decent.
And you may not see much of it with Mac, but you could see it with Bailey.
Yeah.
And Wiggy, you have a perspective that the rest of us lack. I mean, did your teams, whether it was here or Minnesota, actually run plays you were going to use in the regular season, or did you kind of just get into generic stuff without wanting to divulge to other teams what your offense may exactly?
No, we ran plays that we ran during the regular season.
You did. So what did you what would you take out of the preseason games, good or bad, when you were playing? But how did you gauge it to assess how your team would do?
Well, I would think it was more about, for me, and an offense standpoint, how did we run the ball? Like, as far as our blocking scheme, when we're running routes, what did you do against? Were you able to see the coverage that they were playing? Were you able to get open versus man-to-man? Was the quarterback able to make the right throws and make an accurate throw when you were open? Like, little things like that you looked at and go, okay, you know what? All right, we look like we're going to be all right. So-and-so looks really good as a player. Expectations are high from him. He had a couple routes. Even if they don't throw him the football, he was able to get open. So those are the things that you start to look at from inside.
Here's a 508 text on the Subaru of New England text line that says, I'm not a Mac hater, but I don't think he's super likable. Feels like he tries too hard to be a football hardo. Like, who cares whether he's likable or not? Is Aaron Rodgers likable? No.
Yeah, but people don't like him.
But doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it matters if it's if one of his teammates don't like him.
They seem like they like Mac
I
Jones.
agree, but I'm saying that's when it comes into play. And Wiggy, you just brought up an interesting point. How much do players take into account during a preseason game what the quarterback looks like? Do they say, this is kind of just an extended practice, or do they think it's more serious?
I think they kind of know as they're going through practice on, like, all right, what direction we're really going in is, what type of player is this kid, regardless of the position. So, yeah, I think that's part of it. But the likable part you're bringing up doesn't matter. It sounds like I'm the one who used to say that all the time. I can care less whether or not you like Kyrie Irving or whatever player it is. Yeah. And then it seemed like, well,
I don't want Kyrie Irving on a team that I root for because I think he's a bad guy in the locker room. That's how I feel about it. That's my outside perspective. I don't think Mac Jones is a bad guy.
No, I don't think Mac Jones is a bad guy. I'm just talking about whether or not you like a player, right? If people are saying, there are some people who think that they don't like Mac Jones because they don't think he's very likable.
I mean, I rooted for Corey Dillon, not exactly a likable guy, but he was great for the Patriots, and he helped them win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, so. I can care I can care less whether or not you like the player. How good is he when he comes to my team and helping my team win?
And if you like him in the locker room, that's different than liking him on the field. Guys could be fine with Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi or whoever outside of actually playing, but we heard Devin McCourty tell us that last season there were certain guys that thought that they would rather play with Bailey Zappi than Mac week to week.
That is true. Like, in that locker room right now, I believe, and I've been in many locker rooms, I know that there are some guys on that offense who go, we would rather Zappi than Mac Jones.
Well,
but that's just the reality. You laugh at it, Greg, but that's true. Every locker room I've been in, it's always been that way. When you have two quarterbacks that you look at and go, okay, the other guy's not bad, that there's going to be more, whether that's the backup wide receiver who goes, I like Zappi more than I like Mac.
Maybe. I would say this about Mac in the other category is that he is close to that line of needing to up his game to meet his confidence. That he comes across as... He sounds like a guy that's got it figured out when we haven't seen that on the field yet. So this year will be important for him in that if he doesn't live up to what the expectations are, it may get a little bit ugly.
I'm not sure if it was Giotti who said it, but we played the audio of Gesicki, right?
Yeah.
He really hadn't been doing much all of training camp. And so you're telling me if Gesicki's making more plays with Zappy and as the quarterback.
Wait, I wasn't here for that audio. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it was when he made the catch, and then Jody was like, he's 6'5", and he's
nobody's. All I've heard is that Mac and Gesicki are simpatico. They look fantastic together. Cadlick had that.
No. We played the audio of what I believe was Jody or Phil Perry or one of them saying he's 6'5", and he hasn't made any plays except for the one catch in training camp, which they said would have been out of bounds anyways. You don't remember that audio we played?
I don't remember that audio, no.
Does anybody? I wasn't here.
I'm trying to find it, but my news boss decided to freeze. It's great.
I can't remember if it was Phil Perry or one of those guys on NBC Sports Boston talking about
You
that.
sure you didn't dream it?
Nope. I'm spot on. I will guarantee, I'll bet you dollars to donuts.
I feel like you were like 12 grams deep in edibles.
Nope.
And
As soon
dreamed
as
it.
Shime's cheap computer back there reboots.
All right. Well,
I have a show question for future reference. Worst teammate, Trevor Story or Mac Jones?